It's a scary thing to hear. They gave me 2 sheets about what the disease was and then what the treatment was. Upon first recognition of what it was, my mom and I didn't know if I was going to be playing hockey again after the diagnosis. It's been the thing I do my entire life, basically. I started when I was 4 years old. It's kind of all I've known my entire life. I do things like school and, have all my friends and stuff, but hockey's what I do on a day-to-day basis and something I look forward to. In February 2021, I went through a really tough month of something that I never really thought was a possibility, especially at the young age of 18. I started to get regular cough and cold symptoms. I remember one night I had a runny nose that was kind of uncontrollable. It just kept going. I kept having to get tissues, and then soon it rapidly turned to a heavier cough. Kept practicing, kept playing through my junior season. And then for about a week, it was continuously getting worse. I started to see blood come up through the phlegm. There were red streaks. Soon after, I went to a minute clinic to go see what was going on, and they gave me a diagnosis of bronchitis and a sinus infection, which was very fair at the time. They prescribed me Augmentin and prednisone for about a week, which at that time improved my symptoms. Stuff was looking up, and then a week later when I stopped taking it, it drastically and rapidly changed to something worse than before. We were in Sioux Falls for Wiener Dog Night, which is a great tradition they have there. I got out there, I felt really bad. My whole body, my mind, my lungs all felt terrible. I would take a shift, be out there for about 10 seconds and could hardly breathe.
He literally looked like his stick was holding his body up.
I remember I started to get pain in my knees for no particular reason. I hadn't blocked any shots that night. My mom stayed in town just to take care of me and went to the immediate care.
When the chest x-ray came back, after he looked at it, he said, "I've never seen a chest x-ray look like this before."
And they saw how cloudy my lungs were, how they looked like there was so much fluid in there. So they told me that I had atypical pneumonia. I went to dinner with my mom and my billet family. My mom was dropping me off back at my billet house. I spent some time with her, and she saw me limping into their house. So I went in and I walked down to my room, and she called me and said, "Hey, I don't care what you say, we're going to the hospital, I'm coming back to get you."
The female ER doctor came in. She did a bunch of different tests and things, and she said, "You know what, I think we're just dealing with just an aggressive case of something. We're trying to figure this out, but you're safe to go back to the hotel."
So then the next day, we had a game. I wasn't playing that night because of the pneumonia, and so I was watching the game from the stands, and as the night went on, then my ankle started to feel really painful. I remember walking up the bus ramp, getting back to my car, and just going extremely slowly because how painful it was. I got back to my mom's hotel room. I was changing out of my suit. I took my socks off, and my ankle was just massive.
It was the size of a grapefruit. And I said, "Matt, we're going back to the emergency room right now. There's something wrong."
Believe it or not, it was the exact same doctor that we saw. It was a blessing because she knew exactly what I presented with the night before.
And she said, "Well, we're going to take some x-rays of the ankle and see what's going on. We'll have him for a walk." They were back within about 10 or 15 seconds.
My oxygen saturation went from 100% to 75.
The ER doctor walks in and she said, "I'm sorry, you're being admitted." I stayed in a chair in his room for 6 days.
There were a ton of procedures that they went through. They took vials and vials of my blood, and we're just looking at every possibility they could think of.
They had just groups of doctors coming in trying to figure out what in the world they were battling.
With my lungs being so filled with blood, they got me in for a bronchoscopy. I had a CT scan that was taken as well.
The head of pulmonology was going to do a biopsy of Matt's lungs on Sunday. He said, "I think I know where we're going with this, but there's one test that literally takes about 72 hours to get back. And sure enough, we get to that 72-hour mark, and he said, okay, I now know what we're fighting.
He came to me and said that it was granulomatosis with polyangiitis, which is it's a rare autoimmune disorder.
There will only be about 3 out of every 100,000 people in the population per year.
They were like, we need to get him on medicine now, or it's going to start attacking his other organs, and he doesn't have much time left. Well, started the infusion. It's called Rituxan.
And it was extremely scary. You're reading all of the different side effects. Your child could die from this. They brought it in, and I knew that I had to look for a possible allergy reaction, because they say the first time that you get this medicine, you can possibly have an allergy reaction.
I remember just feeling a little off. My mom started to notice a couple spots all over. I took a drink of water, and it was getting tough to swallow. So I laid back, and I remember lifting up my shirt and seeing just dots everywhere.
His eyes just got huge, and he just threw himself backwards into the pillows of his bed.
The nurse ran out to the hallway, and it was a pretty big emergency. I was going into anaphylaxis.
The EpiPen, it worked right away. So Dr. Feely came in probably an hour later, and he looked at me and he said, we have to get this infusion in him. And I said, we can't. I said, it'll kill him. And he goes, he's going to die if he doesn't get this infusion. So you go from praying that your child won't get this infusion to all of a sudden praying that they can somehow get this infusion into your child's body.
Usually they increase the rate of the infusion, but they couldn't do that because how poorly the initial infusion went. So it was about a 24-hour plus infusion that they gave me at, I think it was 25 milliliters per hour, very slow. I think it took about a month to a month and a half for me to get back on the ice.
The fact that he could go back into the weight room, the fact that he could get his skates back on, but just being able to skate around the rink a couple of times, that to Matt was healing.
It's been so long since you put skates on, and there's the thought in the back of your head of just like what you just went through. It's like you haven't played hockey in a month or two, and crazy what just happened. Hockey wasn't really on your mind at that point. You're thinking about your life.
When we found out that Matt got the all clear to play, I flew up because I certainly was not going to miss his first game back. I remember as I got off the plane, I got a post from the team. And the post said, "Bazzy is back." And I'll never forget that post. To see him out there take the ice again for the first time after this illness, a month plus off, just such a blessing. Watching every stride, every step, every shift, every hit, every shot, because no one's going to go easy on him just because of what he went through. This is hockey. But he just was himself, and it was nothing better to see.
Now in the left circle, Basgall shot, goal, Matt Basgall. A rocket of a shot from the left circle.
Took a trip to Mayo Clinic about a month after I got discharged from the hospital. And the doctor there, who was looking at my chest x-ray and my CT scan from my initial hospital stay and then the one they had taken earlier that day, so about a month in difference, he saw from the initial one that my lungs were anywhere from 50 to 75% blood.
And he said, these were your lungs a month ago? The x-rays that we just took this morning, your lungs are clear. You're going to have a normal lifespan. And the sigh that came out of Matt, it sounded like somebody sucker punched him. He said, your son's going to have a normal life.
crazy lessons you learn from that type of stuff. I serve a God that makes good out of every situation. Something that, was really significant to me in that situation was how my relationship with my parents really grew.
I don't think many people would even know that he had this. He does not let this disease slow him down.
I get this infusion. At the beginning, it was about every 6 months. And now, my body's taking the medicine and it's lasting longer with it. I was able to go 10 months this last round without taking the medicine, which was awesome. But it's almost like a reminder every time I go and get it that I could either let this disease control me and make me a victim, or I could say that it's something trying to get in my way and I'm not going to let it do that. There's no part about it that defines me, and it's a small part of my life's journey, but deal with occasionally, but not something that affects me, and nothing that can hold me back from what I want to do.